How's it going, family? So, Mind of a Black Band Director. This thing isn't necessarily always going to be about music, right? Because this is about what's on my mind. Honestly, what's on my mind right now is death. And I know that doesn't sound right. I know I started it off saying crazy, sounding crazy, right? You got to excuse me, I'm walking to my car, I'm at work. But the reason why I say that is, and it's not really death that's on my mind, but it's the things that surround it, right? So, good friend of mine recently, wife passed, rest in peace to her. And I'm not going to really go into all of that and go into the details because I know that's a private and personal thing, but they have kids, you know what I'm saying? And with them having kids, one of the things that I start to think about is, my family, because we were the same age. And now, it starts to put things into a lot of perspective as a band director, because as a band director, we spend a lot of time with other people's kids. And spending that time with other people's kids, it makes me start to think to myself, like, could I be doing something else that allows me and affords me time to be able to spend with my own family, right? Because in a lot of situations, as band directors, we don't always have the luxury of being able to bring our families to events or rehearsals or, even games, and so it starts to really plague on my mind, these different types of thoughts, right? And there are a lot of band directors out there who don't have families and things like that, so they don't really, I don't know. I don't know if these thoughts end up ever crossing their mind. I know it does for me, and I don't know what the thought process for band directors who have families. Some people are afforded the opportunity to be able to spend a lot of time with their family. I know a lot of my or a couple of my good friends who have programs, and their families are with them all the time. But what about those situations where you don't really have that? And so, these things just really cross my mind as a band director. And I know it's not even just a band director thing. I know some people who live their lives and they work every day and they go through what they go through. They don't really get a chance to see their family either. But then there's another side of me that I think about, right? And that other side of me is thinking about the grind. As a man and as a black man, but just as a man in general, right? The understanding is that, you got to grind it out for your family. And, the terminology, pressures made for shoulders and all that kind of stuff. I get that, you know what I'm saying? And I truly understand that. At the same time, I had a thought yesterday. I'm like, if I kill myself grinding out for my family, then what was the purpose of me grinding if I can't ever actually be with my family? Right? I end up leaving my family because I was grinding for my family. And there's so many different thoughts that come through my mind, right? Because, and I was just talking to my best friend, Rick, y'all know Rick. I was just talking to him about this yesterday, and it was just something that was really, really just kind of on my mind at the time. Like, everybody grinds. Everybody has their ways that they grind. Everybody's grind ain't the same. My grind may be different. My grind may be going out and networking with people, adverse being in the classroom. And me going out and networking with people could mean I could bring a kid along, or I could bring the family along, right? And they can still be a part of my life while I'm still grinding. Everybody's situation is different. Everybody has a grind. They have their own grind, right? So these are the thoughts that I think about, man. And it's what's happened has really put a lot of things into perspective for me at this moment, man. And that doesn't necessarily mean that, I hate education. That's not what I'm saying at all. What I'm saying is, I start to think to myself when situations like this happen, because I'm not getting any younger, I'm getting older, and getting older, my kids are getting older. Right now, my kids are 1, 9, and 5. And so I just always think about the fact that I want to be able to watch, these milestones and be available for these milestones for my kids. And I don't know how many band directors are out there who feel that way, or music educators, or just educators in general who are out there who feel that way. But I know that these are the things that I think about, constantly. And like I told Rick yesterday, I don't mind the grind. That's not what I'm saying, but I'm also saying, what does the grind look like as it relates to having a family? I grind every day and I barely see my family, and then I wake up and I'm like, all right, the grind is over. I done got everything I needed, and my 9-year-old is 16. You know what I'm saying? And I haven't been available to be there for all the milestones that she's had before 16, and now I've lost that connection with her because, hey, I was grinding for you so that you could be able to do X, Y, and Z. So I also look at how these things are perceived, when kids get older. We always talk about the imprint that parents leave on their kids and the thoughts that parents have, the thoughts that kids have about their parents as they get older, and I don't want, I definitely don't want my kids to be like, well, my daddy was never there because he was always out working. And then somebody has to say, well, he was working for you. Well, yeah, that may be true, but in the same sense, I'm a black man with a black family. I want to be available for my kids, you know what I'm saying? And so everybody doesn't necessarily have that availability. And so I don't know, man. Maybe I'm just tripping. But I don't know. What do y'all think? Am I tripping or do I have a point?